But I don't think we should be shrinking from the world. But what we've got to do is find a language to discuss what's going on. It is not good enough, as when I was in this country, to simply be anti-war, for example. It's not good enough. It's no good just having a grievance culture. What we've got to have is a solutions culture. We're not just to stop the war movement, but we're a stop the repression movement. That we stand for something. And that's something that we've not managed to evolve since 2003. We've got to rise to that challenge, and that's when I would go back to the Arab Spring, the opportunity that this presented and to which we do not rise. We have got to get all of the talents within our community. And part of the failure, for example, in places like Egypt, was that they were not ready. As much as we may be critical of the Muslim Brotherhood and the Mohamed Morsi administration, we've got to recognize that these were people who grew up, including Morsi and many of his key lieutenants, in a repressive country. Some of them had faced jail during their life, including Morsi. How were they expected to suddenly come to power and run a government? Not just run a government which had been run calamitously for decades, and turn it around and suddenly, within the space of 1 year, provide jobs to all those young people who had been on the streets. And it was about jobs and economy more than anything. Clear up the rubbish on the streets, clear up the traffic jams in Cairo. How was he meant to do that? And one thing we've got to be ready for next time this happens, and there will be a next time, is there need to be better ideas sitting to be adopted. Tunisia was not the disaster Egypt was for a very simple reason, because they had people like Sheikh Rashid Ghannouchi who had had time and space over a period of decades to think about this. Now, Sheikh Rashid was in London for decades, writing books, thinking about it, dreaming of that day where he goes back to Tunisia, as fanciful as it would have seemed at the time. And the wisdom that Ennahda has taken to the challenge of government and politics in Tunisia is testament to that space. But Egypt didn't have that same space, and we as Western Muslims have that space. And we've got expertise. Amongst us are health professionals, accountants, economists, engineers, politicians. There are people with real expertise within our community who should be engaging with this idea of, when the revolution comes back, how can we make it succeed next time?